The Krell star system had been quiet for a very long time. Too quiet. From the main command station above the blue gas giant Karthos, rows of officers watched their screens in silence. Ships moved in slow, perfect patterns. Defense platforms drifted in fixed positions. Everything was normal. Everything was under control. The Krell Dominion ruled this region of space. No enemy dared come close. No fleet challenged their borders. Peace, for the Krell, was not hope, it was habit. That was when the sensor officer paused. He leaned closer to his screen, his eyes narrowed. One small signal blinked at the edge of the system map. It was faint, almost nothing. He adjusted the scan range. The signal grew brighter. "Commander," the officer said carefully, not wanting to sound foolish, "I am detecting an object entering the outer system." The commander did not look up. "Civilian traffic?" "No," the officer replied. "Too fast." That word finally pulled attention. The commander stepped forward. Other officers turned in their chairs. "How fast?" the commander asked. The officer swallowed. "Faster than standard warp exit, faster than anything on record." A quiet tension spread across the room. The commander folded his arms. "Run a full scan." The system AI processed the data. Numbers updated, lines appeared, warnings flashed yellow, then orange. The object was accelerating, not slowing down, not adjusting course, accelerating. "That is impossible," one officer said. "No ship can maintain that speed inside a system." The sensor officer shook his head. "Yet it is." The object was now clearly visible on the main display. A single contact, no escort, no fleet, just one ship, moving like a spear thrown by a god. "Identify it," the commander ordered. The AI hesitated. That alone was alarming. "Identification incomplete," the AI said. "Hull design does not match known Krell, Allied, or pirate vessels." The commander felt a cold feeling settle in his chest. "Try deep scan." The room lights dimmed as power shifted to sensors. Energy readings spiked. The AI spoke again, slower this time. "Confirmed. Military-grade vessel. Heavy armor. Extreme engine output. Weapon systems dormant." Dormant. The ship was not even ready for battle. It did not need to be. Then the AI added one final line. "Origin, human space." The room froze. No one spoke. Even breathing seemed loud. Humans. The word carried weight. Stories, reports, half-forgotten warnings passed between officers like bad dreams. Humans were not the strongest species, not the largest, not the oldest, but they were dangerous. Not because they sought war, but because when they came, something had already gone very wrong. The commander broke the silence. "Distance to inner system." The AI responded instantly. "Estimated arrival 11 minutes." 11 minutes. That was nothing. Defense fleets required at least 20 minutes to fully deploy. Planetary shields needed time to charge. Command approval alone could take longer than that. The ship was coming too fast, too direct, too certain. Why would a human ship enter our system like this, alone? The commander did not answer. He was watching the trajectory line on the display. Straight, clean, locked. The human ship was heading toward the core worlds, toward Krell Prime. "No course change detected," the AI said. "No response to standard warnings." The commander's claws tightened. "Send a stronger signal, military channel." The message was transmitted, a firm demand, clear authority, orders to slow down and identify. There was no reply. The ship crossed the first defense marker. Yellow alerts lit up across the room. "This cannot be a mistake.
one officer said, his voice low. "Humans do not move like this unless—" He stopped himself. Unless they meant it. The commander turned to the tactical officer. "Prepare interceptor wings." "They will not reach it in time," the officer replied. "The speed difference is too great." The human ship was now large enough to show shape. A sharp, armored form, heavy plating, engine glow burning white-hot at the rear. A battlecruiser. Not a scout, not a diplomat, a warship. "Commander," the sensor officer said quietly, "the engine output, it's beyond safe limits. They're pushing the ship harder than designed." "Why would they do that?" someone asked. The answer hung in the air. Because time mattered more than safety. Because whatever had brought them here could not wait. The AI issued a new alert. "Warning, human vessel entering inner defense zone." Red lights flashed. The room filled with sound, alarms, commands, urgent movement. The commander raised his voice above the noise. "Trigger red alert." For the first time in centuries, the order was spoken. Across the system, wild sirens wailed, fleets scrambled, weapons powered up, planets raised shields and sealed cities. The Krell Dominion was on full war footing. And still, the human ship did not slow. No fear, no hesitation, just forward motion. The commander stared at the display, his mind racing. This was not an invasion, it was not a patrol, it was a message. And whatever that message was, it was about to arrive.
Red alert changed everything. Across the Krell star system, calm routines vanished. War stations powered up, defense platforms rotated into firing positions, hangar bays opened as fighters launched in long, sharp lines. The system had faced enemies before, but never like this. Because this time, the threat was already inside. Inside the main command station, the air felt heavy. Officers spoke fast and low. Data streamed across screens faster than anyone could fully read. The human battlecruiser was still accelerating. "That speed is insane," the engine analyst said. "They're burning fuel like they do not plan to return." The commander turned slowly. Or they plan to finish before that matters. A new scan result appeared. The human ship's hull was covered in deep armor layers, thicker toward the front. Its design was not elegant, not smooth. It looked built to take punishment, built to keep moving no matter the damage. "This ship was made for forward assault, not retreat," the tactical officer said. The commander nodded. A hammer. The sensor officer spoke again, his voice tight. "Commander, the ship's power readings are fluctuating, not unstable, controlled, like they are holding something back." Holding back? It made no sense. Why would a single ship enter a hostile system at full speed and still hold power in reserve? Interceptor wings were now visible on the tactical map. Dozens of fast Krell fighters raced toward the incoming ship, engines glowing blue. "They will reach it in 3 minutes," the tactical officer said. The commander watched closely. "Order them to form a wide net, no direct attack." "Yes, Commander." The fighters spread out, moving to surround the human ship. The battlecruiser did not react. It did not slow. It did not turn. It flew straight through the net. The fighters' targeting systems failed almost at once. Their screens filled with static. Guidance locks dropped. Weapons refused to fire. "What just happened?" a pilot shouted over the channel. The commander clenched his jaw. Electronic warfare. "But we never detected—" The human ship passed them. Just past them. No shots fired, no explosions. The Krell fires were left behind, useless, spinning in empty space. A silence filled the command room. "That ship disabled an entire wing without firing," someone whispered. The commander felt a chill, and it did so without slowing down. The human battlecruiser crossed another defense line. Red symbols flashed faster now. "Distance to Krell Prime?" the commander asked. The AI answered, 7 minutes. 7 minutes. The core world held billions of lives, cities, shipyards, government centers, everything the Krell Dominion was built upon. "Why are humans doing this?" an officer asked. "We are not at war." The commander's eyes stayed on the screen. "That does not mean we did not cross a line." A memory surfaced, a report dismissed months ago, a minor border action, a neutral colony. The commander felt uneasy. "Bring up recent human-related incidents," he ordered. The AI complied. A file appeared. A small outpost, a neutral world, not Krell space, but close enough. A raid. Official records called it a mistake. The commander's claws curled. "Mistakes matter to humans," he said quietly. The human battlecruiser's engines flared brighter. Warning lights flashed. "Commander, their sensor called out. They just dumped excess heat into open space. They are pushing even harder now." "They're speeding up?" the tactical officer asked in disbelief. "Yes. Why?" The answer came too easily. Because they were running out of patience. A new alert sounded. "Human vessel entering weapons range of inner platforms." The commander straightened. "All batteries, hold fire." Several officers turned in shock. "Commander? If we fire first, we may not survive the reply." The platforms tracked the ship. Massive cannons followed its path. The human battlecruiser remained silent. Then, at last, something changed. A signal pulsed from the ship. Not an attack, a transmission. "Incoming message," the AI announced. The room went still. "Route it," the commander said. The display shifted. Audio filled the chamber. A human voice spoke. Calm, steady, clear. "This is Captain Elias Ward of the human Navy battlecruiser Resolute." The name meant nothing to the Krell. The tone meant everything. "We are entering your system under emergency authority." No threat, no shouting, just fact. "You have 7 minutes to listen." The commander exchanged looks with his officers. The human captain continued. "We are not here to conquer. We are not here to negotiate." A pause. "We are here because you were warned." The commander felt the weight of every word. "Captain," he replied, choosing his words carefully, "you have entered sovereign space at dangerous speed. Explain yourself." Another pause. Then the human answered. "You attacked people under our protection." The room erupted in shock. That action ended any delay. The human ship continued its approach, filling more of the display now, every detail visible, every scar on its armor clear. "We are giving you one chance to understand." The commander felt something shift inside him. This ship was not here to win glory. It was here to make a point. Outside the command station, alarms continued to sound. Inside, the real danger became clear. The red alert was not for the humans. It was for the Krell, and the message had only just begun. The command chamber felt smaller now, not because the room had changed, but because every word spoken by the human captain pressed down on the Krell officers like unseen gravity. "You attacked people under our protection." The sentence echoed in the commander's mind. The commander straightened his posture. "Captain Ward," he replied slowly, "your accusation is unclear. The Krell Dominion does not recognize." "You recognize force," the human interrupted, still calm. "And today, you will recognize consequence." The channel went silent. The human ship kept moving. 6 minutes. The tactical officer leaned close to the commander. "This is madness. One ship cannot stand against our full system." The commander did not answer right away. He was watching the data stream. The human battlecruiser was adjusting its power distribution again. Weapons were still inactive. Shields were up, but not fully raised. The ship was exposed, almost daring them. "Why would they leave themselves open?" the sensor officer asked. The commander finally spoke. "Because they are not afraid." That truth settled heavily. A new scan updated. "Commander, the sensor officer said, voice tight. "We are detecting launch bays opening on the human ship." Several officers reacted at once. "Fighters?" "No," the officer replied. "Something else." The image sharpened. Long, narrow objects slid from the ship's hull and locked into position. Missiles. But unlike anything in Krell records, they were not armed. They were not targeting. They were waiting. "Those are inert," the weapons officer said. "Why launch unarmed missiles?" The commander felt his instincts scream. "They are not missiles," he said. "They are markers." The AI confirmed seconds later. Analysis complete. Objects contain high-density transmitters and quantum beacons. The commander understood. "Target designators," he whispered. The human ship was marking everything. Defense platforms, shipyards, command relays, even cities. The realization hit the room like a physical blow. "They are mapping our system in real time," an officer said. "If they fire, they will not miss," the commander finished. The human captain spoke again. "We have finished recording your defenses. No pride, no threat, just information. Every gun you power up, every ship you move, every shield you raise, we see it." The commander's throat felt dry. "You are alone," he said. "You cannot strike everything." The reply came instantly. "We do not need to." The human ship crossed another marker. 5 minutes. Outside the station's viewports, distant flashes appeared as defense platforms adjusted their orientation. They were ready, waiting for permission. The commander felt every eye on him. "Commander," the political liaison said quietly, "if we do nothing, we appear weak." The commander turned. "If we act blindly, we appear dead." Another report arrived. "Human ship just rerouted power to forward armor," the sensor officer said. "They are expecting a hit." That was the moment the commander understood. The humans were not trying to avoid battle. They were controlling it. "Captain Ward," the commander said, forcing his voice steady, "state your demand." The human paused. When he spoke again, his voice had changed. Not louder, heavier. "You will withdraw all forces from the neutral colony you attacked." A pause. "You will issue a public apology." Another pause. "And you will never test our patience again." The tactical officer hissed. "This is extortion." "No," the commander said softly. "This is judgment." The human captain added one final sentence. "You have 4 minutes." The channel closed. The human ship surged forward again. 4 minutes. The commander turned to his officers. "Options." The tactical officer spoke first. "We fire everything. We may destroy the ship." "And then?" the commander asked. The officer hesitated. "Then humans respond, not with one ship." The political liaison swallowed. "If we comply, our rivals will sense weakness. If we do not, there may not be rivals left." Another alert sounded. "Commander," the sensor officer said sharply, "human ship just powered its primary cannon." Gasps filled the room. "But they said they would not miss," the commander replied. The display showed the weapon charging. Energy levels climbed, not to full power, just enough. Enough to destroy something important. A city, a station, a symbol. "They are showing restraint," the weapons officer whispered. The commander felt something close to awe. Humans were not reckless, they were precise. Another report came in. Long-range sensors detect multiple human fleets changing course. They are far away, but they are watching. The commander closed his eyes briefly. This was not about one system. This was a lesson. 4 minutes became 3. The commander made his decision. "Open the channel," he ordered. The human captain appeared again. "We will comply," the commander said. "We will withdraw. We will apologize." The human studied him through the screen. 3 seconds passed. Then he nodded. Wise. The human ship powered down its cannon. Missile markers disengaged and drifted away, burning up harmlessly. The engines reduced output. For the first time since entering the system, the ship slowed. Across the command room, officers released breaths they didn't know they were holding. The human captain spoke one last time. "Remember this moment." The channel closed. The human battlecruiser adjusted course, no longer aimed at Krell Prime. The red alert remained active, but something had changed. The Krell Dominion had survived, yet nothing would ever feel the same again, because now they understood the truth. Humans did not need to destroy you to win. They only needed to arrive at full speed.
The red alert did not end right away. Even after the human battlecruiser slowed and changed course, the alarms kept sounding across the Krell system. War stations stayed active. Weapons remained charged. No one trusted the silence. Silence could be dangerous. Inside the command chamber, officers stood quietly at their stations. No one celebrated. No one spoke loudly. It felt like the moment after a storm, when the wind is gone, but the damage is not yet seen. The commander remained still, staring at the main display. The human ship was still there, not attacking, not leaving, just present. "They are holding position," the sensor officer reported, "outside direct weapons range." The tactical officer frowned. "Why not leave?" The commander answered slowly, "Because the lesson is not finished." Reports flooded in from across the system. Krell forces withdrawing from the neutral colony. Human observers confirmed compliance. Public statement drafted. Each message felt like another piece of armor being removed from the Dominion's pride. The political liaison approached the commander. "The apology will be broadcast within the hour." The commander nodded. "Good." "Many will not accept this," the liaison said. "They will say we bowed to fear." The commander finally turned to face him. "We bowed to reality." On the main screen, the human battlecruiser rotated slightly, revealing more of its scarred hull. Deep marks ran across its armor. Old damage, repaired damage. This ship had fought before and survived. "Commander," the sensor officer said hesitantly, "I am detecting something unusual." The commander looked back at the display. "Speak." "The human ship is transmitting system-wide." Murmurs filled the chamber. "Another message?" "Yes, but it is not for us alone." "Route it," the commander ordered. The broadcast activated. The human captain's voice filled every Krell channel, every public relay, every military feed. "This message is for all who are listening," Captain Ward said. His voice was calm, but carried weight. "We do not seek war with the Krell Dominion." The commander listened carefully. This was not a threat speech. It was something else. "We do not expand by conquest. We do not rule by fear." A pause. "But when we draw a line, we defend it." Across the system, billions heard the same words. "We warned you once. You ignored it." Another pause. "This ship came alone, so there would be no confusion." The truth settled deeper. The ship was not a weapon. It was a statement. "We could have arrived with a fleet. We did not." Screens showed the battlecruiser again, small against the vastness of space. This was restraint. The broadcast ended. The silence that followed was heavier than any alarm. "They wanted everyone to hear that," the political liaison said quietly. "Yes," the commander replied. "They wanted everyone to understand." A junior officer broke the quiet. "Commander, long-range scans show the human fleets are changing course." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Away from us?" "Yes." The human ship began to move again, slowly this time, calmly. No rush, no pressure. "They are leaving," someone whispered. The commander did not feel relief. He felt something else. Respect. As the human battlecruiser exited the system,
The red alert finally ended. Sirens fell silent, weapons powered down, fighters returned to hangars. But no one felt victorious. In the hours that followed, the consequences became clear. Messages arrived from neighboring powers, careful questions, thinly hidden concern. Is it true? Did humans really enter your system alone? What did you do to provoke them? The commander answered none of them. Instead, he ordered a full review of every human-related action taken by the Dominion in the past decade. Days later, the official report was complete. It confirmed what the commander already knew. The Krell had not been attacked by humans, they had been judged. In private council, senior leaders argued, we should rebuild defenses, we should prepare for retaliation, we should show strength. The commander listened, then spoke. We will do none of those things. Silence followed. We will change our behavior. That is what humans respect. Some protested, most did not, because fear still lingered, not fear of destruction, fear of attention. Weeks later, Krell historians recorded the event under a new category, not war, not conflict, but intervention. They named it the day the red alert was not enough. In human space, the event was barely mentioned. No celebrations, no monuments, just a report filed and closed. The human battlecruiser Resolute returned to patrol duty. Another line held, another warning delivered. Across the galaxy, other powers took notice, because the message was clear now. Humans did not rush to war. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They arrived fast. They arrived alone. And if you heard a red alert when a human ship entered your system at full speed, it meant you had already gone too far.
The galaxy did not react all at once. At first, the event inside the Krell system was treated as a rumor, a strange story passed between traders and smugglers. One human ship, a red alert, no battle, no destruction. Many did not believe it, but records do not lie. Sensor data leaked, communications logs spread, independent observers confirmed the same impossible fact. A single human battlecruiser had entered a fortified system at full speed and had left untouched. In distant systems, admirals replayed the data again and again. They watched how the human ship moved, how it ignored defenses, how it never rushed, even while moving faster than any ship had the right to. They noticed what mattered most. The humans did not fire first. They did not fire at all. That confused the galaxy. Among the Krell, fear changed into something more dangerous: understanding. The commander of the Krell Dominion stood before the High Council weeks later. His voice was calm, but his words were sharp. Humans do not use power the way we do, he said. They do not prove strength by destruction. The council listened. They prove strength by control. That sentence spread farther than any war declaration ever had. In nearby systems, border commanders quietly pulled their fleets back from human-adjacent space. Patrol routes changed. Old plans were canceled without explanation. No one wanted to be the next lesson. On a distant world, an alien general asked a simple question during a strategy meeting. What if the human ship had failed? The room fell silent. Another answered slowly. Then a fleet would have arrived. That was the true fear. Not what humans showed, but what they did not need to show. Back in human space, Captain Elias Ward stood on the bridge of the Resolute. The stars moved slowly outside the viewport. The ship had returned to normal speed. Systems were quiet. A junior officer finally asked the question everyone had been thinking. Captain, why didn't they fight us? Ward did not turn. Because they knew,
he said. The moment we arrived, they knew. Knew what? That this wasn't a battle, it was a decision. The officer nodded, though he did not fully understand. Ward understood. Humans had learned long ago that winning was not about breaking enemies, it was about changing behavior. The Resolute received a short message from command. Mission successful, line held, return to patrol. Nothing more. No praise. No ceremony. That was human culture. On the Krell homeworld, the apology broadcast played again and again, not by order, but by choice. Leaders wanted their people to remember, not the fear, but the warning. Children in Krell academies began studying a new lesson. Power does not always arrive loudly. The phrase became common. So did another. If humans come fast, it is already serious. Trade routes slowly reopened, tension eased, but something fundamental had changed. The Krell no longer saw humans as a distant species, they saw them as boundaries, lines drawn in space. Cross them and something would come. Not tomorrow, not after debate, but immediately, quietly, at full speed. Elsewhere in the galaxy, smaller powers took notes. They learned that aligning with humans did not mean protection through presence, it meant protection through certainty. Humans did not need to watch you closely, they only needed to know when you crossed the line, and they always knew. A year later, a border conflict erupted between two non-human powers. One side targeted a refugee convoy, believing no one would care. They were wrong. A single human cruiser arrived, not firing, not threatening, just arriving. The conflict ended within hours. No shots fired. The pattern became clear. Humans did not patrol the galaxy, they corrected it. In the Krell archives, the event was no longer called an intervention. It gained a simpler name, the Red Arrival. The commander retired not long after. On his final day, he stood alone in the observation hall, watching the stars. He remembered the moment the human ship had appeared, the speed, the silence, the certainty. He understood now what had frightened him most. The human ship had not been desperate, it had been patient. That meant humans were confident, not just in their weapons, but in their future. As he left the chamber, the commander recorded one final note for history. When humans enter your system at full speed, do not ask how strong they are. Ask what you did to make them come. Far away, the Resolute continued its patrol. Just another ship, just another line. But across the galaxy, countless leaders slept more carefully now, because they knew the truth. Red alerts were meant to warn of enemies, but when humans triggered them, they were not the danger. They were the answer.
Years passed after the Red Alert. Wars still happened in the galaxy. Empires still rose and fell. Fleets still burned in distant systems. But something had changed beneath all of it, like a quiet rule no one dared break. Human space remained calm, not because it was empty, but because it was watched. The Krell Dominion felt that change every day. Borders that were once pushed slowly outward now stayed still. Military commanders who once argued for expansion now argued for caution. Every plan included a new question. Does this affect humans? If the answer was unclear, the plan was abandoned. The commander who had faced the Resolute lived long enough to see this become normal. From his quiet retirement world, he watched the galaxy shift without explosions or treaties, just behavior. He often thought about the human captain, not his face, not his ship, his tone. There had been no anger in it, no pride, no hunger for victory, only certainty.
That memory stayed with him until the day a young Krell officer visited him. "Sir," the officer said, "why didn't the humans destroy us when they had the chance?" The old commander took his time before answering. "Because they didn't need to," he said. "But they could have ruled us." "Yes," the commander agreed, "and that is why they didn't." The officer looked confused. "Rulers must stay," the commander continued. "Enforcers must watch. Conquerors must return again and again." He looked up at the stars. Humans only needed to come once. Far from Krell's space, a human colony grew on the edge of known territory. It was small, peaceful, protected only by local patrols. Pirate clans watched it closely. Some suggested testing it. Others refused. "Humans respond fast," one pirate leader warned. "How fast?" another asked. "Full speed," came the answer. The discussion ended. Back aboard the Resolute, Captain Elias Ward stood once more on the bridge. The ship was older now. Scars covered its hull like memories carved into steel. A junior officer read from a report. "Another border dispute resolved without conflict." Ward nodded. "Any human losses?" "None." "Then it was handled correctly." The officer hesitated. "Captain, do you ever wonder if one day someone won't listen?" Ward turned. "Of course," he said. "That day will come." "And then?" "Then we do what humans have always done. We show up." The Resolute changed course slightly. Another system, another patrol, another quiet promise kept. In the Galactic core, historians began rewriting their records. Old theories about power no longer fit. Strength was not size. Dominance was not noise. Victory was not destruction. Humans had changed the definition. They were not the strongest race. They were not the most advanced, but they were the most reliable. If humans said they would protect something, they did. If they warned you once, they meant it. If they came at full speed, it was already serious. A generation later, young cadets across many species studied the same event. A single human ship, a red alert, no battle. Their instructors asked the same question every year. What was the weapon? The smartest students gave the right answer. The decision, they said. The decision to act early, the decision to arrive alone, the decision to hold back power instead of wasting it, the decision to be clear. On Krell Prime, a monument was built, not to honor victory, but to remember restraint. It bore no image of the human ship, only words. We were warned, we listened. At the edge of known space, a sensor operator froze one day, staring at his screen. A single contact had appeared, fast, too fast. He leaned forward and whispered the words that had become universal. "Human signature detected." The commander beside him asked quietly, "Course?" The operator swallowed. "Direct." The room fell silent. The commander closed his eyes for a moment, then spoke calmly. "Find out who crossed the line." Because that was the truth the galaxy had learned. Humans did not arrive without reason. They did not rush without cause. And when they came at full speed, it was never to ask. It was to remind. Somewhere in the dark between stars, the Resolute burned bright, engine steady, course true. Just one ship, just enough. And that is why the galaxy stayed quiet.